Good day everyone. We are Group 3 and our topic for today is school policies and their functions. Learning outcome. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to explain the importance of school policies in school operation. Introduction. Schools are institutions motivated by a shared vision. Necessarily, schools must have policies for them to realize their vision and mission. These policies are a reflection of the values of the people who created them. Whatever policies are formulated must redound to the improved teaching learning of learners, which is the very reason of the existence of schools. In this chapter, we will focus on school policies that govern school and community partnership. So, ang content or ang kinokonsist po ng itatakal or discussion namin for today is patungkol po sa policies sa paaralan. Kinakailangan po na dapat ang mga paaralan ay magkaroon o mayroong policies o mga patakaran upang ma-realize at malaman nila ang kanilang vision at mission. Sinabi dito na whatever policies are formulated must redound to the improved teaching, learning of learners. So ano nga po ba ang redound or meaning ng redound? So it means to contribute greatly to a person's credit or honor. Ang pagkakaroon din ng policies sa isang paaralan ay nagiging reflection para sa mga taong nagfa-facilitate doon dahil naa-aware sila sa mga bagay na nakakapagpaunlad palalo at makakapagpabuti palalo sa institusyon nila. Ang paaralan po ay isang pasilidad na pang-edukasyon at nararapat po na mayroon itong mga patakaran upang mas ma-develop pa yung mga bagay na dapat ma-ide-develop. Yung policies po sa isang paaralan ay para po bagang may mga kondisyon kayong sinusunod na makakapag-benefit hindi lamang sa mga school o sa institution kundi pati na rin po sa mga taong naroon.
Let's read this. Group yourselves by 6 then share your answer to this question. For groups 1, 2, and 3, here is a part of the policy on grading given by the DepEd Central Office and DepEd Order 8, Series 2015, dated April 1, 2015. Study the components and corresponding percentage weights. Table 7, weight of components for grade 1 to grade 10. There are 4 tables. The first table is the components. Components have 3 parts. First part is the written work, second performance task, and last part is the quarterly assessment. The second table, language, AP, ESP. The third table, science and math. The last table is the MAPE, EPP, and TLE. Familiar po ba kayo sa ipinakita sa table 7? Yung weight of components for grade 1 to grade 10. Opo, yan po yung kadalasang sinasabi sa atin ng ating guro nung tayo po ay high school, na kung saan sinasabi po sa atin pagpasukan para malaman po natin yung kanilang basehan sa pagbibigay ng grado kung ilan ang porsyento na ating maaaring makuha. Kasama sa pagmamarka ang pagsusuri ng gawain ng mag-aaral. Mayroon 3 components o basehan ng pagbibigay ng grado. Una po rito ay ang written work. Ang written work po ay ito po ay binibigay upang masuri ang pamantayan sa nilalaman at pagganap na naglalarawan sa kaalamanan, kakayahan at kasanayan na inaasahang maipamamalas ng mga mag-aaral. Na nakapaloob po dito ay ang reaction paper, sanaysay, exam, at quizzes, at iba pa. Ang mga gawain ito ay maaaring dinisenyo upang maisama sa portfolio ng mga mag-aaral na nagdodokumento ng lahat ng ebidensya ng pagkatuto sa loob ng panahon ng pagmamarkahan at hindi bababa sa 4 na nakasulat na mga gawa at sa 4 na gawain sa pagganap sa loob ng kwarter. Written work, language, EPSP, ito po ay may 30%. Ang science and math, ito po ay mayroong 40%. MAPE, EPP, and TLE, meron naman po ito na 20%. Ang pangalawa naman pong components o parte ay ang performance task. Ang performance task po ay ito ay gawain sa pagganap anumang aktibidad sa pagkatuto o pagtatasa na humiling sa mga mag-aaral na gumanap upang maipakita ang kanilang kaalamanan, pag-unawa at kahusayan. Ang mga gawain sa pagganap o performance task ay nagsisilbing katibayan ng pagkatuto. Ang nakapaloob po sa performance task ay ang pag-report, pag-roleplay, at marami pang iba. Performance task sa language APSP, meron po ito na 50%, science and math, meron po ito ng 40%, MAPE, EPP, and TLE, meron naman po ito ng 60%. Ang last po ay ang quarterly assessment. Meron po ito ng sa language ESP na 20%, science and math 20%, MAPE, EPP, and TLE, meron naman po ito na 20%. For groups 4, 5, and 6, read this policy on students' absence and tardiness. A learner who incurs absence of more than 20% of prescribed number of class or laboratory period during the school year or semester should be given a failing grade, not earned credits for the learning area or subjects. Furthermore, the school head may, at his/her discretion and individual case, exempt a learner who exceed the 20% limit for reasons considered valid and acceptable to the school. The discretionary authority is vested in the school head and may not be availed of students or granted by a faculty member without the consent of the school head. DepEd Order 8 Series 2015. Para naman po dito, di ba po, ang school o teacher ay nagsasabi na kung ilang absent lang ang dapat ng bawat estudyante. Kung ikaw po ay higit pa sa liban na ginawa, ay kailangan itong bigyan ng mababang marka o bagsak dahil hindi na nakukuha ang kredito para sa pag-aaral ng paksa. Pag lumampas na po sa bilang na sinabi o 20% ng pa-absent, ang school head ay hindi maaaring gamitin ng mga mag-aaral o ibigay ang isang faculty member na walang pahintulot ng school head dahil laging kailangan na muna ng approval ng school head. Habitual tardiness, especially during the first period in the morning and in the afternoon, is discouraged. Teachers shall inform the parents, guardians, through a meeting if a learner has incurred 5 consecutive days of tardiness. Pag ang isang estudyante ay hindi pumasok ng 5 araw, ang mga teachers po ay nag-home visiting o pinapatawag para bigyan ng impormasyon ang magulang na ang kanilang anak ay hindi pumapasok sa loob ng 5 araw. For all students, read this excerpt of DepEd Order 54 Series 2009. Activities. All PTA activities within the school premises or which involve the school its personnel or students shall be prior consultation and approval of the school head. Sa loob po ng paaralan, kung ang PTA ay may gustong isagawa o ipropose na activity, ay may kailangan na muna ng approval at mag-consult sa school head kung ito ba ay sumang-ayon sa activity na kanilang gustong isagawa. Financial matters, such collection shall be made by the PTA subject to the following condition. If the collection of the school publication fee, Supreme Student Government or SSG, Developmental Fund, and other club membership fees and contributions is coursed through the PTA as requested by the concerned organization. The amount collected shall be remitted immediately to the schools, SSG, or other student organizations concerned on the day it was collected. The pertinent organization shall deposit to the funds with the reputable bank on the next banking day. Under organization's amount, no service fee shall be charged against any student's organization by the PTA. Kadalasan po natin ito nakikita sa clearance na kung saan doon po natin makikita yung mga bayaran na nagiging pondo sa pamamahala ng Supreme Student na kung saan ang binabayadan sa clearance ay kadalasang nagiging pondo ng bawat club. Halimbawa, ang isang club ay magsasagawa ng isang activity. Noon po bang high school tayo, ang bawat club po ay may activity. Bali, ang nagiging pondo nila ay yung binabayadan natin na clearance bago tayo mag-exam. Doon po sila kumukuha ng panggasto sa mga kailangan na kagamitan o kung may iba pa silang kailangan na bilhin. Kung mapagkasunduan naman po ng isang organisasyon na ibang ko ang nakuha o nalikom na pondo, ito po ay ipapangalan sa organisasyon, hindi sa pangalan ng isang tao. Non-compliance or any violation of the aforementioned condition shall be ground for the cancellation of the PTA's recognition and or the filling of appropriate charges as the case may be. Ang sinamang lumabag ay tatanggalin sa posisyon bilang isang member ng PTA at magkakaroon pa po ito ng multa.
Policy and collection of contribution. A PTA may collect voluntary financial contribution from member and outside sources to fund and sustain its operations. A PTA's program and project shall be in line with the School Improvement Plan or CIP. The CIP is a comprehensive plan for improving the educational environment in the school where it operates. Ang PTA po ay stands for Parental Teacher Association. Isa siyang formal organization na nakasali ang mga magulang, teachers at other staff na nagfa-facilitate ng parental participation in school. Sila din po ang nagkokolekta ng mga voluntary financial galing sa member and other sources para magkaroon ng fund ang operation na gagawin na project para sa school. Banggit din po dito ang CIP or School Improvement Plan. Ang PTA program and project po may kaugnayan din po sa SIP. Kasi ang SIP or School Improvement Plan po ay tumutulong kung paano mamahala sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng mga pagkakataon na ang mga stakeholder ng paaralan at komunidad ay magkatuwang na magplaplano at tumukoy ng mga intervensyon upang matugunan ang mga priority improvement ng school.
The contributions should be a reasonable amount as may be determined by the PTA Board of Directors. Non-payment of the contribution by the parent member shall not be a basis for non-admission or non-issuance of clearance to the school concerned. The contribution shall be collected selected by the PTA treasurer on a per parent member basis regardless of the number of their children in school. No collection of PTA contributions shall be done during the enrollment period, and no teacher or any school personnel shall be involved in such collection. So, dito po is ang contribution should be reasonable amount daw po na dapat na de-determine ng PTA Board Director. Ang hindi pagbabayad ng contribution ng member is hindi dapat maging basis para sa hindi pagpapasok o hindi pag-issue ng clearance sa kinauukulang school. Then, every family is isa lang ang dapat babayaran kahit na ilan pa ang member ng family, and ang dapat lang mangolekta ng contribution is yung PTA treasurer. Then, sa panahon daw po ng enrollment period is walang dapat gawing pangungolekta ng contribution ang PTA. At walang guro o sino mang kawani ng school ang dapat masangkot sa nasabing collection.
The PTA's treasurer or a duly authorized representative shall undertake the collection and issue official receipts or acknowledgement receipts. In no case shall any school official or personnel be entrusted with the safekeeping and disbursement of collections made by the PTA. All disbursements of funds shall be in accordance with generally accepted accounting and auditing rules and regulations. Ang ingat yaman ng PTA daw po, isang autorisadong kinatawan ay dapat magsagawa ng pangungolekta at mag-issue ng mga opisyal na resibo o pagtanggap ng mga resibo. Sa anumang kaso, ay hindi dapat pagkatiwalaan ng sino mang opisyal o tauhan ng paaralan sa pag-iingat at pagbabayad ng mga koleksyon na ginawa ng PTA. Ang lahat ng mga disbursement ng mga pondo ay dapat alinsunod sa pangkalahatang tinatanggap na mga tuntunin at regulasyon sa accounting at auditing. PTAs are prohibited from interfering in the academic and administrative management and operations of school and of the DepEd in general. Nakikialam sa akademiko at administratibong pamamahala at operasyon ng paaralan at ng DepEd sa pangkalahatan. Engaging in any partisan political activity within school premises. Pagsali sa anumang partidistang aktibidad sa politika sa loob ng lugar ng paaralan. Operating a canteen, school supplies store, or being a concessionaire thereof inside the school or nearby premises, or offering these services to the school as its client either directly or indirectly. Nagpapatakbo ng kantin o tindahan ng mga gamit sa paaralan o pagiging isang concessionaire nito sa loob ng paaralan o kalapit na lugar, o nag-aalok ng mga serbisyong ito sa paaralan bilang kliyente nito, direkta man o hindi direkta. Selling insurance, pre-need plans or similar schemes or programs to students and or their parents, and such other acts or circumstances analogous to the foregoing. Ito daw po ay ang pagbebenta ng insurance, mga pre-need plan o katulad ng mga scheme o programa sa mga mag-aaral at kanilang mga magulang, at ang iba pang mga kilos o pangyayari sa kahalintulad na nabanggit.
Vision statement. School in partnership with their community have their own picture of what they want to be. So, ibig sabihin daw po nito, ang paaralan ay nakikipagtulungan sa kanilang komunidad ay may sariling larawan kung ano ang gusto nilang maging. So, ang halimbawa na natin ng work experience program na dito pumapasok yung work immersion. Sa immersion na yon, ang bawat mag-aaral magkakaroon ng malalim na pag-unawa sa ganitong programa dahil nakahasa yung kanilang mga abilidad sa iba't ibang trabaho na kanilang may experience. At dahil sa experience na yon, marami ang naging positibo ang pananaw dahil sa nagagamit ng mga estudyante ang kanilang kaalaman based sa napag-aralan nilang espesyalidad. Bukod pa dito, mas nahasa pa ang kaalaman nila tungo sa ikauunlad ng kanilang kinabukasan. Makatutulong iyon sa mga bata para pag nalaman o pag-isipan nila kung ano nga ba ang gusto nilang maging. Mission statement. Services must be offered and must do what they are supposed to do. So, ibig sabihin daw po nito, ang mga serbisyo ay dapat ihandog at dapat gawin ang dapat nilang gawin. So, ang mission ay magbibigay ng mataas na kalidad sa edukasyon at pangangalaga sa bata sa isang ligtas, magalang at napapabilang sa kapaligiran na bumubuo ng pundasyon para sa panghabang buhay na pag-aaral. So, both there are in sense in order to realize what they envision themselves to be. So, parehas lang po sila na may esensya upang maisakatuparan kuno ang kanilang naiisip sa kanilang sarili, both the vision statement and the mission statement po. What will be happen if there is no policies? What will be happen if there is no policies along with the students? Similarly, if there is no policies on student tardiness and absenteeism, student may just in late or absent. The policies on student tardiness and absenteeism certainly will curb tardiness and absenteeism to ensure learning. So, ibig sabihin nito, ano daw po yung mangyari kung walang patakaran kasama ang mag-aaral? Katulad dito, kung walang mga patakaran sa pagkakaantal at pagliban ng mga mag-aaral, ang mga mag-aaral ay maaaring huli o lumiban. Ang mga patakaran sa pagkaantala at pagliban ng mga mag-aaral ay tiyak na hadlang sa pagkahuli at paglipan upang matiyak ang pag-aaral.
Effective policy formulation and implementation in a school community partnership. School formulates a policy to address local problems. In fact, this is how it should be in a school community partnership. Ideally, a policy must not be formulated by the school head by himself or herself. The school head must lead the policy formulation process. So, yung school daw po yung bumubuo ng mga policy para matugunan yung mga local problems. At yun po ay tinatawag na school community partnership. So, ideally, sa pagbuo daw po ng mga policy, ay di dapat ginagawa mag-isa ng mga school heads. So, yung mga school heads daw po, yung dapat nagli-lead sa pagbuo or sa proseso ng pagbuo ng mga policy. The word lead implies that an effective policy formulation must be participatory. This means that it is best that the rest of the school and community involved. So, the word lead po ay nagpapahulugan na ang isang epektibong proseso ng pagkakabuo or pagbubuo ng mga policy ay dapat mayroong participation, may mga participation. Next, 2 good heads are better than 1. So, what this means daw po? So, this means that it is easier for 2 people or a group who can help each other to solve a problem than it is for one person only to solve problem alone. So, totoo nga naman po na mas maganda, mas mabilis matutugunan ng mga problema kapag nagtutulong-tulong. Besides, participation of the school and community develop a sense of ownership of such formulated policy which ensures a more effective implementation. This is school empowerment in action. So, bukod daw po sa partisipasyon ng school and community sa pagbuo ng isang policy, ay nasisigurado na ang pagpapatupad ng mga policy na nabuo ay epektibo. It is school empowerment in action. When we say school empowerment, it generally includes teaching and leadership in the classroom. Aside from involving the school and community in policy formulation, a school head must ensure wide. So, bukod nga po sa involvement ng school and community sa pagbuo ng policy, ay para daw po matugunan yung mga local problems.
What will be happen if there is no policies along with the students? Similarly, if there is no policies on students, tardiness and absenteeism, students may just in late or absent. The policies on students, tardiness and absenteeism certainly will curb tardiness and absenteeism to ensure learning. So kung walang mga patakaran sa lugar na namamahala, sa pagkaantala at pagliban, ang mga mag-aaral ay maaring malate o lumiban. Ang mga limitasyon ng pagkalate at pagliban ng mag-aaral ay tiyak na magpapababa ng pagkaantala at pagliban, na magbibigay daan sa mga mag-aaral na mapag-aral. So, two good heads are better than one. Besides, participation of school and community develop a sense of ownership of such formulated policy, which ensures a more effective implementation. This is school empowerment in action. Aside from involving the school and community in policy formulation, a school head must ensure wide. So, sa pamamagitan ng partisipasyon ng paaralan at komunidad, nabubuo ang pakiramdam ng pagmamayari ng naturang nakasaad na patakaran na tiniyak ang mas epektibong pagpapatupad. Ganito ang hitsura ng school empowerment sa aksyon. And dapat tiyakin ng isang punong guro ng paaralan ang malawak na pagkipag-ugnayan bilang karagdagan sa pagsasama ng paaralan at komunidad sa paggawa ng patakaran.
Let's analyze. For all groups, how do you feel about the policies? Are you happy about them, or are you happier without them? Why? Yes, I am glad with the policy because it serves as a guide to effectively carrying out school's responsibilities. For groups 1 to 3, number 2, what if schools had no policies on the grading system? What may happen? What are possible consequences on teaching and learning? Answer: we all know that grading system is very important, but if there had no policies and grading system, we are unable to analyze or assess each child's ability. For groups 4 to 6, number 3, what if schools had no policies on the students' tardiness and absences? What may happen? What are possible consequences on school's atmosphere, on teaching and learning? Answer: if there had no policies on the students' tardiness and absences, many students will be irresponsible since they are unaware on the proper guidelines about the school, which will drive them drop out of the school. For all groups, number 4, based on the DepEd order on PTA collections, why are schools very strict with money collections? Answer: schools are very strict with money collections because everyone are capable of paying such collections. They enroll their child in public school, knowing that they don't need to pay anything. That's why it is public schools.
Number 5. The policies given above came from DepEd Central Office. Should all school policies came from DepEd Central Office? Can school also formulate their own policies? If yes, why? If no, why not? Most of the school policies came from the DepEd Central Office, but then school can also make or formulate their own policies because every school has its own mission and vision that they wanted to achieve, and policies that they will make will contribute to the school improvement and for school to achieve their respective goal. Number 6. If schools can formulate their own policies, what conditions must be met for these policies to be surely implemented? The conditions that must be met by the policies that was formulated is that it should give safety for school personnel, staff, teachers, and students. It should give benefits to school and those people who's on it.
the policy should involve those things that will contribute for the betterment of school. Number 7. What is an advantage of a policy formulated by the school community over that policy which comes from above? I think the advantage of the policy that was formulated by school community is that the school will create an effective learning and teaching environment for both students and teachers. The policies will provide things that the school communities demand and needs.
So we have takeaways or an outcomes. First, policies are intended to ensure that schools perform and realize what they have envisioned themselves. So schools created a policies to make sure that they provided a good services to attain their goals. Second, there are policies that come from authorities above the school since the school is a member of a bigger organization or system. Although schools created their own policies, schools are also need to follow or a follower to those organizations which is under them. Next, but schools are also empowered to formulate their own. So like what I said, schools are also have rights to make their own rules and policies that needed to follow naman ng nasasakupan or yung under management nila. Then policies to address their concern speedily provided they are not contrary to policies that come from above. So even though schools have rights to create their own policies, it doesn't mean that the rules or policies they create are against to the policies created naman ng organization na nakakasakop sa kanila. So another one is, school policies are effective when they are formulated with the participation of the member of the school and community as this develops sense of ownership which ensures implementation of the family. So before the policy formulated becomes effective or implemented, it is agreed upon by each member of organization. Like for example, in creating laws, before the laws implemented and becomes effective, the Senate member agreed upon it. Then, policies must also be widely disseminated for the information of the entire system, school and community, and must be understood correctly and clearly. So, it is important to clearly understand and inform everyone of the policy being implemented so they know what is the right to do and the consequences or rather the punishment when they disobey. Lastly, policies set order in schools. The absence of clear-cut policies make court chaos. So not only in school it is important in setting policies, it is also important in any organization to have policies for the peaceful or kaayusan at katahimikan. So the absence of policy and rules in any organization causes of chaos or yung kaguluhan. So let's proceed to the application. So let's apply. So interview a school head on at least one school policy formulated under her leadership. So ask the following. First, why was it formulated? Second, how was it formulated? What is formulated with a representative from the school and community? Why or why not? Lastly, does the implementation of policy address the problem for which it was created? If it doesn't, what's next step is being planned? So we have here, so I did an interview to Mr. Midel D. Camara, a school head in high school department through text messages. So according to him, one of the policy he formulated under her leadership is policies and rules on discipline. So different colors of the hair, sanction, first offense, written warning, and conference. Second offense, conference with parents. Third offense, preventive suspension. And the fourth offense, dismissal. So, why what is formulated? So, according to him, because I observed that time passed by, many high school students have different colors of hair, especially in males. Second question, does the implementation of policy address the problem for which it was created? If it doesn't, what's next step is being planned? So according to him, yes, on the first year of implementation, students already follow the policy and rules. And the last question, so how was it formulated? Was it formulated with a representative from the school and community? Why or why not? So according to him again, the disciplinary board was created to handle different infractions or violations committed by students. They are the one also who are formulating the policies and rules of the school. The board are composed of the school president, vice president for academic affairs, guidance counselor, basic education head or principal, and parent representative, which will come from PTA set of officers. Okay, so let's proceed to the importance of school policies. So, here are the importance of school policies. First, develop quality and safety education. So, it helps a school establish model operating procedures and create standards of quality for learning and safety, as well as expectations and accountability. So without this, institution would lack the structure and functions necessary to provide educational needs of the students. So second one, internal controls. Policy form as a control mechanism that will effectively limit the behavior of teaching and non-teaching staff. So policy should always be enforced through some kind of scrutinizing mechanism. So it is important to prevent overusing their power of profession to their students. The third one, maintain compliance. So intended to help schools teach students efficiently, fairly, and safely as per the regulatory norms and the board to which the institution is affiliated. So this term determine how students are taught, what they are taught, how schools manage students and its personnel. So it is determined on how teachers teach her student or the way he or she facilitate their class. It is important to evaluate and how the student interact in a certain discussion. And what I know, before the teacher facilitate the lesson plan he or she created, he or she made, it is checked and approved by the principal first. And one way of evaluating is class demonstrations. The fourth one, importance of school policies, build a learning culture. So academics being the major service of a school. It is mandatory to create a learning culture by encouraging the staff to continuously add to their knowledge. So example of these are seminars and orientation conducted by those at the higher level or schools which is teacher are required to attend. Fifth one, safe learning environment. So in order to create this environment, guidelines need to be developed and restated that establish safety standard for the physical environment and mental state of students and staff. So one of the factors in effective teaching is the learning environment. Example is ground beautification and improvement. So nowadays, dahil pandemic, yung paglalagay everywhere inside and outside the school ng mga health and safety sign protocols. So example, pag required sa kanila na paglalagay ng mga hand wash. Then, setting goals and establishing productivity. In order for an institution to encourage higher learning, plans must be in place that establish goals as set forth by the school management. So that's why every schools or institution has its own mission and vision that will serve as their guidelines in teaching. Next, equality. So, equality in the school is again determined by its policies. So, this is the teacher's equal treatment to their student, and it is very important to prevent bullying. Then, teacher engagement. Teacher engagement is the key element for the teacher retention, including teacher interventions and their continuous professional development all over their career. They are all whole and they are interconnected. So the teacher participation and involvement in any activities conducted by the institution they belong to is important for their development. It is said nga that teaching is a lifelong process of learning. The last one is stakeholders' involvement. It is extremely important that everyone is involved in the policy making, that each stakeholder has his or her role and should be able to take that role into the process. So as I mentioned earlier, the participation of every member is needed because it is important that the policy to be implemented is agreed upon by all members. So that's all. Thank you for listening. I am Eva D. Torres, together with my group mates, Abigail C. Ibia, Irby Marie C. Abina, Atina Isabel G. De Leon, Erica Faye P. Total, Hannah Alegre, Joshua Q. Antigua, Annalyn De La Cruz, Crystal May Samante, Alaysa May Sancho, and Kyle Christine Espanyol. And we are the